Hi, this video is going to be about text coding. Text coding might be something that is absolutely foreign to you, but really it's just getting you to annotate about what you are reading. You see, when we annotate, we tend to remember what we've read just a little bit better, because let's face it, do we all really want to learn about the Pilgrims coming to America? Although I think it's fascinating that people actually risk their lives to go on a boat for 3 months to come to a new world where they'd have to farm and cook and clean and do everything for themselves. Many of you find it, well, kind of boring. So this is about text coding. For each unit, for really October through April or May, we will be text coding in class. Of course, not every day, but with each unit, I like to introduce with some text coding or end it with some text coding. So this one is about the English colonies in America and why did the Pilgrims come. I'm going to ask that you turn to page 35 of your History Alive textbook. They should be on the desks, along with find a sheet that looks a lot like this. These are our text code reference sheets, and you can also look on the side board. Those are our text codes. You'll notice I've taken away the heart and replaced it with the detective so you can dive deeper into content, terms that you don't understand. So we're going to take a look back here. And as you read, I want you to apply 3 text codes to the reading. You might want to stop on things when you find it interesting, or you have a question, or you have a character detail, something that you've never heard before, but can make a connection to it now. Maybe it's the setting, the location, the time period, or a light bulb. Oh, I get it now. Or if you look to the sideboard, the detective with the magnifying glass, and you want to dive deeper into a term that you read about, such as an indentured servant. So what you'll do is as you read, I suggest reading it once, and this is what your reading looks like. I suggest reading this once, just this paper, that's all you'll read about. And as you read, you want to think about, well, what is important to me? Although you can't highlight in the book, you may want to use Post-it notes or something like that just to symbolize what you find is important. So let's say I think Middleburger as Middleburger discovered, the voyage across the Atlantic was horrible. Most passengers suffered greatly from illness and hunger. And then what I would like to do is come back here and say, okay, well, I have a question. So you'd go back and say, you know what? I'm going to put a question mark here, and I'm going to end up drawing that. So I'm going to hit the draw tool, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to draw my question mark. I'm going to go back to File, and I'm going to type in exactly what I just read. How do I do that? I go back to page 35. As Middleburger discovered, the voyage across the Atlantic was horrible. So I'd write that with quotations, as Middleburger discovered the voyage across the Atlantic was horrible. Period, end quotes. And here is where I would give my explanation, noting that the text-based evidence is a direct quote from the text, and the explanation is based on your code here and your text-based evidence. So the question might be, what was so horrible? Or how long was the voyage? You may want to even consider answering it. Maybe some people became ill with whichever type of disease comes to mind. Maybe nausea, if you've ever been on a ship. Some of you may get nauseous. How long was the voyage? Okay, and then you would come on over here and do the same thing. In this chapter, what will you read about? Generally towards the end, from here, you will be able to find out. In this chapter, you will read about the people who settled the English colonies and why they came. There it is. So you're going to write that down here. Number 3, the graphic organizer, the spoke diagram. That's on the other page. That's on page 34. You're going to use your knowledge of social studies, and you're going to take an educated guess. It's okay to get it wrong. It's not a big deal. So number 3 is a spoke diagram, and I have that here for you. How do you think these people make a living? Okay, this is just, notice that this is just an abstract, right? From here, then we have a city on a river. What occupation would need boats like this? So they're just taking this abstract from here. And the same thing here with your colonial America. I mean, like a New England home, and there's your abstract. What do you think is the occupation of people living here? Okay, take some educated guesses. Okay. And the colony in the center is which English colony? The cow most likely represents, the snowman most likely represents, and the shackle and chains most likely suggests which colony. Okay, obviously those questions don't match. I'm going to change them. Okay. Then last but not least, on Tuesday, we will do a think aloud where you're going to share out your text codes and have a conversation. You're not going to write somebody else's text codes in here, but you're more or less going to write, what did your group talk about? Okay? Do not write a text code in the box. How do we find all this? Where is this located? So if you go into Teams, and you go into your assignments, you will find, I swear you will find this paper in assignments. Okay. I'm sorry, the spoke diagram. Let's go back to the spoke diagram. This is the spoke diagram. It just didn't print out. Here's the spoke diagram. Okay, I got nervous for a little bit. So there's the snowman. Which colony is this? What do you think these all mean? Sorry, this is something different. We'll get to that. Okay. So in Teams, I'm just going to use period 9. You'll go into General Channel. The tab is Assignments, and go to a Colonial America Text Coding. You'll click on that. Remember, I have to go to my student view. Here's all the directions, and this is what you need. These are the text code rubrics, which is this, and then this. And I have the text code rubric, and I can give you a grade right from here. Okay, so again, this spoke diagram is right here. Okay. That's text coding.